And we also want to bring in today's special guest, economist Marc Faber. He's also the publisher of the Gloom, Boom, and Doom newsletter, which you can get by going to gloomboomdoom.com. Marc, thanks so much for being back with us on The Income Generation.
Well, thank you very much for having me on your program.
Marc, lately we've seen people in the grocery stores here in America doing the head shake. And they're shaking their head, looking at how prices have rose so rapidly in this rapid inflationary environment that we have. And we know the Fed has poured gasoline on the fire of inflation as the form of accelerant, so they are really a lot to blame here with this inflationary issue. But where do you see inflation going from a consumer perspective? Can prices just keep rising in this environment?
Well, that depends very much on fiscal policies. And as you hinted at, it will depend mostly on the Federal Reserve. But you understand, the Federal Reserve has abused its power for the last 40 years. For the last 40 years, they have pursued monetary policies that encourage consumption and that encourage asset bubbles. And we have evidence of that. They created an asset bubble with the housing market between 2003 and 2007. And then after the great financial crisis, they started in December 2008 with QE1. At the time, I was asked when that would end. And I said, this is not QE1, it's QE infinity. Because once you embark on money printing, it's very tough to abandon, to stop printing money unless you are prepared to take a significant recession. And this is now where we are today. The Fed, in my opinion, will increase interest rates maybe 50 basis points, and over the next 6 to 9 months, maybe to 1%, maybe 1.25%. But then things could get so bad in the asset markets, because as you know, mortgage rates have almost doubled from the lows that we had 18 months ago.
So this trend that we have of rising inflation and rising rates then is not really transitory in a short-term sense. You're saying there's going to be a longer trend and a more aggressive trend towards a rising rate environment, unlike anything we've seen in 40 years. That's what I hear you saying, Marc. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying we're headed into an inflationary spiral that is unstoppable for the time being, also because of the stupidity of government officials. You have to see this ESG, environment, social, and governance issue, that increases the price of everything. And if you have embargoes against Russian oil, Russian resources, and so forth and so on, you can become, of course, you can become energy independent. We can all have solar panels on the roof and windmills in the gardens. And on Hollywood Boulevard, we can have some windmills as well. But the cost is incredible. And what is cost efficient? Nuclear power, they don't want. That they don't want.
Right.
Well, you bring up all these great points, but the world thinks the Fed is the financial savior of every financial crisis, and it sounds like they may have outdone themselves here, since technically they aren't a law-abiding institution. They've got a blank check and they can do whatever they want. And so you're saying the chickens are coming home to roost then, I guess, is what you're saying, basically.
What I'm saying is the Federal Reserve is the arsonist. They put on the inflationary fires. They put on bubbles, they create bubbles, and then when everything collapses, they come in and says, look, because of us, it's not worse than it already is. That's what the Fed does. The Fed and other central banks are criminal organizations.
Marc Faber, Jeff Small, again, great being with both of you. Thank you so much for being here.